Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This will be bot number 60 from Dubious Positions and how to attack them. In many ways, this bot would be an alternative or continuation of the previous bot last week. If you have not seen that video, please do go over it before going through this video. And this will also be a discussion of the central cannon versus left cannon blockade defense system. So without further ado, let us begin. The central cannon. Left cannon blockade. P3+1, as mentioned earlier, is the best counter for red. In the previous bot, P3+1 was played, which was heavily criticized as a bad move because red will play H3+4 and threaten the cannon and the central pawn at the same time. In this bot, E3+5 was played, whereby black tried to consolidate his defense and prevent H3+4, the threat of H4+5 from happening. Unfortunately, this would also be a dubious move that would result in substantial losses for black. Now, again, as mentioned in the previous spot, the best move would be to play C2 for black, whereby black would start countering immediately, and he will have much more chances for a much better game to play. And as mentioned, similar to the previous spot, red would attack because black did not play to 5. Red will now attack with H3+4 to threaten cannon with a P3+1 discovered attack. This would be the position of discussion for this spot, and two major variations are discussed. The first would be C8-2, and the other would be H2+4. Variation A, C8-2 is played. Now this is different from the previous spot because the elephant had been moved. Let's say red continued with H8+7 to consolidate his defense, and black would play H2+3. This would be a much more favorable move for defense. It would not be a good idea to play C8=7, hoping to gain a cannon with this discovered attack. Red would simply accept the trade. After delivering a check, red fortifies his defense, and he will now attack the central file and play C8=9 to develop his left flank. So although black had gained an elephant, 1, 2, 3, 4 major pieces would not have moved. Or this horse had moved, advanced and retreated, and this would result in and black would need many moves to try to need material, and red could play R9=2 immediately. So black would fall far behind in terms of development of the material, and red can be very happy with this situation. So C8=7 is not a good idea. What about P3+1? As black hopes to play H2+3 if need be. Red will again attack with C8+4, forcing black to develop his horse as an EI horse. If he played H2+3, C8=7, the cannot be developed. H4+6 is a possible counter. R9=8 is a possible continuation. If red played H2 again, C8=7 or C8=3 is possible. H2+3 is discussed. 7+1. Again, both the horses would have trouble developing later on in the game. It would not be a good idea to play H4+6 so early because this would be one lone piece attacking the enemy territory. 7+1, and because the horse was now at this over here, it would be a forced exchange of material, and the pawn would cross the river under the protection of the black chariot, and red would now have seized and turned the tables around, seized the initiative and turned the tables around. If P7 were not played, then H6+4, hoping to go for an horse, Black would defend nicely. The horse will not be trapped. It will not be. It will lose its bearings and become an ineffective piece. 6 is not a good idea. Instead, Red should take his time and play p7 plus 4, preparing for h4 plus 6 later on. Black would play a4 plus 5. c8 plus 3 to gain material would be a futile approach because Red would simply treat the horse. So, you can see that both the red horses are ready to go. They are lines for development. 9 equals to 8 is possible. And at this point in time, Red would have made 5 effective moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas Black would only have moved 1, 2, 3 move. Advantage would mean that Red would have he would have gained more progress in terms of tempi. 9 to develop the chariot. p3 plus 1. r2 plus 3. Red would stop. Red would defend, advance the chariot to prevent the cannon from applying another blockade, guard his pawn rank, and be prepared to play p5 plus 1 if need be for attack. Now this is a very good, deep and meaningful move that looked at the big picture. If let's say Red play h7 plus 6, eager to attack, pawn equals to 4 with the kingside chariot. I can also consider c8 equals to 7 at this point in time because now it will be a much better situation for to gain material. So because traded chariots, the horse will move out of the way. Sorry, before capture, deliver a check and move his horse out of the way, and Black would now be counter-attacking so early in the game. Position for Black. 7 plus 5, check. c2 equals to 5. e7 plus 5. Black will now get rid of the blockade. Black could have seized the initiative away from Red. Chariot will be very powerful. It can protect the pawn, preventing c9 plus 4 from happening, and it can also move the center if need be for defense, etc. 7 plus 6 is not a good idea. 1 plus 4, a6 plus 5 to consolidate the defense. Reorganize his defense. Now, at this point in time, one noteworthy variation to mention would be h3 plus 4, whereby Black will try to offer trade. Accept, and Red will play h8 plus 7, hoping, threatening with the spotted cannon checkmate. p1, Black would have nothing to fear, and then play h6 plus 4, threatening to go for checkmate. Red would have the advantage at this point in time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Red would have won that across the river. And try to go for the elbow horse checkmate. Elbow horse check, check later on. Red will now, seeing that Black had consolidated his central file, Red will now switch the direction of his attack to this file of material. Let's develop material. Now Red's development, his pieces are very well developed. He'll offer trade on material to get rid of the pesky chariot, and he will slowly secure the advantage one move at a time until a winning position arrives. So this is variation A. In variation B, h2 plus 4, whereby Black develops the horse as an elephant eye horse to guard both pawns, is discussed. He will be prepared to sacrifice material. So, because the horse had moved, Red would now focus his attack on the cannon with p3 plus 1 as a discovered attack. E7+1, black sacrifices material. What would happen if c equals to 3 were played? After again, this would be similar to the previous board, whereby push the pawn across the river, and h8+9 would be a possible continuation. Material after gaining tries to find compensation by pushing a pawn across the river. h8+7, not throwing the pawn. Retreat the horse. Black will play h7+6 to attack. So another major variation would be h4+6. Let us see. This is discussed in other opening books. So c5+4 for the check. Retreating the cannon. Otherwise, black will play h6+7 to attack the cannon. After trading away material, red will still be one piece up, but the situation is becoming simplified, and the threat of this pawn cannot be ignored. Tries to attack, capturing the pawn. Red will now focus his attention on this flank. Follows at this point in time, red can continue with r8+1 to double threat to gain material, or r8+2 is a discover check to capture the horse. So two options. Black will loss, and if he's continued to lose material, things would be very unfavorable. h4+6 is not a good idea. Instead, 7+6 to attack. And red will play r9+1. He will activate his left chariot and to join in his attack. 2. Attack the horse. p7+1 to develop the horse. Attack. And red will defend nicely with c8+1. After defending, since red had the material advantage, if he were able to slow down black's attack, advantage of having an extra piece would slowly surface, and black would slowly position. Now, r6+3 is not a good idea because black would try to go for the elbow horse, and black would have an opportunity to hassle. Red would have to find a way to deal with the cannon. This would be a much more move. Not only attack the pawn, also prevent the happening. So let's move out of desperation. If you play p7 equals to 6, red will play r6+3, threaten the horse and capture the pawn, and all the moves 1, 2, 3, 4 that were used to push the pawn will now come to naught. Black's position will immediately fall apart, as he will not only be at a material disadvantage, he would also lose a lot of tempo. h8+6. Red plays a very nice move of our h1+2 to prevent the elbow horse. Trading material, the horse can be developed 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3 at this point in time. Red will cleverly continue to develop his right horse, which will go for the elbow horse possibly, and nice advantage going to the end game. So in this board, again, the board last week and the board this week, one very important take-home lesson is the fact that whatever you move, the previous move, this move, and the future moves should be a concerted effort to carry out a particular strategy or tactic. So both this board and the board last week, black's e3+1 and p3+1 were not able to deal with the situation. So let us review this board from the eyes of black. cannon blockade, p3+1, and dubious move e3+5. Red continues +4, variation A, c8-2, variation B, h2+4. c8-2, red develops. The pace of is much slower than the previous spot, but nevertheless, red will slowly gain an advantage. h2+3 is a better move, as red will now develop his material much faster on this flank. Black would have to face a lot of trouble over here. p3+1 is likewise not viable because red can block the horse, or if the horse has an elephant horse, red would be able to use material nicely. Is significant. +1, a4+5 to develop the chariot as a kingside chariot. If c8+3, simply retreat, and after trading material, red's advantage in terms of moves or tempo is very significant. Bishop+9, move, stopping the chariot to ask for directions and see how black will attack. Now, 7+6 would be too hasty. Black will be able to form a block game. Red's advantage is not so big. So 4, a6+5, e3+5 for defense. Now h3+4 variation, because red will be able to push the pawn across the river in time to attack the horse and also go for elbow attack. F equals to 3. Black prevents Black prevents c8 equals to 7 from happening. Chariots. Red fortifies his position, which is very nice and staunch now. Bishop+9. Horse will find trouble developing. Black tries to protect the pawn rank. He cannot move here, otherwise the horse will capture it. He cannot move here, otherwise this horse cannot attack here, or this horse is covered. So this would be possible whereby black would protect the pawn. And then red would offer a trade of chariots for place black in a dilemma. If black accepts position is not good, red's material would have lots of open lines for development. Variation B, sorry. Since black played h2+4, red will play p3+1 and focus on this chariot, and black will be prepared to sacrifice it. Sacrificing the chariot, black will gain material, but black tries to formulate an attack for compensation. p7+1, threatening the horse. h7, retreating the horse. Immediately starts to mount an attack, hoping to another major variation is H4+6, which is not actually ideal because red would be able to get even more material, and the loss of so much material will mean that black will have sorts of trouble. But black takes the opportunity to develop the chariot as a ranked chariot to attack and for defense. Move, red will now be thrust in a dilemma because black had used 1, 2, 3, 4 pawn. Losing the pawn would mean that black will lose 3 moves. 6+3 is not as good because black will be able to try to make some mischief and he will have an opportunity to game. H+6 inspiration, because if 6 black attacks the horse, the pawn will be lost, resulting in a loss of 4 moves. Nice defensive move by red, preventing the elbow horse. If capture, red will capture the horse. Again, it will be 2 disadvantage. And after some to and fro, just although black would have a pawn that crossed the river, but red's major pieces were now attacking very nice. So again, the take-home lesson this week would be the concept of making sure that every move you make is in conjunction or concerted effort with the previous move or moves, so that you can have a very effective attack. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a nice weekend ahead.